morning, everyone. It's another Winning Wednesday for January 15th. It's a Wednesday here on the daily live webcast called Jenn Cast that happens every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern here on yfelive.com. I'm your host, Jennifer Donogh. You can tweet me at Jennifer Donogh and use the hashtag JennCast. So today's headline show, I should say it's Winning Wednesday show, and it's a headline show. So we're talking all about things that are happening in the news. The first topic that I want to bring up was an article that was published in Mashable yesterday. Not necessarily a headline or anything controversial, but it was something that I thought was interesting to consider, especially if you're a journalist, a freelance writer. A lot of people are starting their own media companies, whether they're doing live webcasting, they're doing something similar to YFE with blogging, that kind of a thing. So Mashable is saying essentially why this is the age of publishers, not journalists. And it's kind of an odd article because it starts it off by talking about all of these journalists that started with like the Wall Street Journal and different tech publications and have now gone out on their own. And they were praising the journalists, basically saying, because of this one person, certain articles and certain things are going viral and millions of views happen for things like I said, the Wall Street Journal, because of this one person's writing and their what they're able to share. And so then at the very end of the article, it goes into, oh, but alas, no, that's not really the case, because essentially the publications, what they're arguing, no matter how awesome the author is, no matter how amazing this journalist is, and how many hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers they have, it's still the platform that gives them that leverage. It's still the platform, whether it's Wall Street Journal or Mashable, that allows them to have an article go viral. So they go off like Kara Swisher, I believe has started one. They talk about this one author that was for the Wall Street Journal, and he seems a little controversial. Or the Washington Post is the one that they focus on, and that he started his own, and it gets millions and millions of views, but it's hard to compete with things like the Wall Street Journal. And if the Wall Street Journal's really going to, or the Washington Post, or whatever publication it is going to be hurt by these journalists utilizing social media to go off on their own, right? So they have these hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers. Rather than pointing them to go to another platform, they say, hey, let's go on to mine and find out more about me. So definitely check it out. It's a good article, like I said, especially if it's something that you're interested in doing, as far as if you're a freelance writer and you want to go off on your own, or if you're considering going to work for someone else. Yeah, definitely just check it out. So with that being said, let's move on to the next one. This is the controversial one, Launch Conference or Launch Festival. By @Jason, and I don't ever know how to pronounce his last name, Kalikanakis? Is that right? So anyway, the Launch Festival, if you go to, I think it's events.launch, something like that. Let me pull it up. events.launch.co/festival. So he has this big festival that happens, and they came out with their speakers. And let me just scroll down and you tell me if you notice anything. So this is young female entrepreneurs, right? It's called Jenn Cast, but it's primarily about entrepreneurial women in their 20s and 30s. And so let's look through. Do you guys notice anything funny? Yeah, it's all dudes. So if you're listening to the audio, @Jason or Jason Kalikanakis, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right. I watch him on his This Week in Startups. Great show. Highly recommend it. It's on YouTube and on iTunes. And I really like him. I like the guy. He came out with this lineup of all men in his festival, and then a little bit of controversy sparked up around it. So @Jason, that's his Twitter handle, got in a little bit of a feud with @Shanley. So @Shanley, actually, a couple days later, it turns out she was launching a new publication called modelviewculture.com. And it's funny because, on Twitter, you now see, you get alerts for people that are following other people, or if a lot of people have followed one person. Well, Entrepreneur Magazine, Fast Company, all of the big publications that I follow on Twitter, it told me we're starting to follow this model view culture. And I feel like a lot of what she was doing was sparking up controversy to get her name out there and to have people notice her to check out this new publication. So I want to get your opinion on the feud. It's essentially, she was arguing that at Jason is at fault for announcing 100% male lineup for his tech startup conference called Launch. And he came back and basically defended himself and said, this is only 5% of the speakers. We're going to have so many more speakers coming up. We're looking for a female keynoter. And so it spurred on more controversy. My only opinion in all of this is that I don't understand, as a conference producer, someone that's putting on something, why you wouldn't, because I don't think it's an issue. Like he's singling out women or pushing them aside. It just seems like poor marketing. Maybe he was trying to spark controversy by doing 100% men, and then there's like saying, oh, well, we're going to have lots more women coming up, or what his whole point in doing this. But he definitely, why would you announce a speaker lineup with all men if you have to expect some type of controversy, right? So let me know who's winning in this situation. He came out and defended himself, though, on Twitter. He spoke out to the people that were really saying bad things about him rather than just letting it be pushed off to the side. These people take the idea of gender equality very seriously in the tech world. Why? Because another interesting thing that came out, she was pointing the blame at the Y Combinator founder, Paul Graham. And so he's been someone that's been in the news headlines recently. TechCrunch, he had a response to critics saying Y Combinator is planning an event for female founders. And there was a whole article about how he's not discriminating women and accepting a small percentage into Y Combinator. And we've actually had Catherine Minshew on, who is in Y Combinator, and she talked a little bit about it, and he mentioned her in his response as well. So anyway, Shanley called him out because he is a keynoter at the conference, and he has a very long response, and we'll include links to all of this. So I don't know who wins in this situation or why it's so, look at this blog post, or this, I guess, I don't know if you could say it's a blog post, but it's a response. Crazy long, right? He definitely took this seriously. He has annotations at the bottom, and at the very bottom, he thanks people that helped him review or read drafts. So they're definitely taking it seriously. Like I said, they don't want people to think that they're discriminating against women in any way. So like I said, let me know what your opinion is on this. Tell me who you think is winning in the situation, and we'll just keep an eye on it. I think it's something that's interesting. I absolutely don't have an answer for, if or even an opinion on the amount of women that are either, female founders in startups, or women that are getting venture funding, or women that are starting tech companies. How do we fix the problem? And it's all things that I'm very interested in hearing what your thoughts are on, and we can keep the discussion going. I do think it's important, though, that the discussion is out there in the first place. So moving on, another winning company. So this company is definitely winning.
Wow, winning.
Oscar, a new health insurer, raises $30 million. And this is out there in a few places, but this particular article is posted in the NewYorkTimes.com. So Oscar is a company, a health insurance company that's supposed to be renovating or breaking the mold, or whatever you say, the health insurance industry. And so, like they said, hello, New York. They're just in New York right now. We're a new kind of health insurance company that is using technology to make insurance simple, is what it says. And this is something that I've been following for a while, because they were, along with YEC started their own, which I believe is called startupinsurance.com. This was another one that's often mentioned in the articles at the same time as YEC. And it's just a website. This is the thing. It's not doing anything crazy with insurance, as far as someone mentioned in the comment in the article. It's not me. I still have to pay for my services, versus any type of other really groundbreaking type of a company. But at the same time, if you are self-employed and you've had to sign up for insurance, it's such a headache. I did it in 2010 when Obamacare was first passed, and then, it was like the 4 years type of timeline. And it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, to go through insurance. And it was so expensive, and I didn't understand what I was getting. So if you look at the hioscar.com website, it breaks it all down really nicely. And at the very bottom, this is my favorite part here. it lets you see very simply how much it's going to cost you. So here's an example. If you just even click this, you can see single with no kids, and it gives you some options for plans. So I just thought it was just a fantastic idea as far as trying to simplify how people purchase the service, first of all, which is a headache in and of itself. But also they try and make it a little bit more personable as far as how the service is provided to you, with doctors being on call, and certain services are laid out as free to make sure that your health is in good shape. And that's the same with a lot of health insurance companies, but they make that really stand out and make it clear to you from the beginning. So I just got a couple more because I want to make sure to mention this. This is an article in Entrepreneur. I've got a couple of them from there, but this is all over the place. The headline is "More Bad News for Patent Trolls." So this is a win for small businesses that have had to deal with patent trolls. And there is a company that we've had on YFE Chat Live that's owned by a young female entrepreneur, started with a bra. It's Joey Bra. And they were featured in GeekWire, a local publication here, for having an issue with a patent troll, where someone had put a patent out for, I forget if it was a bra or something that could carry something. It was so generalized. And so what happened in this case, in this story, is that the New York Attorney General Eric T. Schneiderman reached a civil settlement with notorious Delaware patent firm. And so this is just something that's basically creating precedence for the idea that we're not going to stand for this any longer. These patent companies that purchase old patents that are so broad and generalized that they can stop small businesses from selling goods or having them pay a license fee for something that they've never even created. So if you watch Shark Tank, Mark Cuban is a big advocate of this. He talks a lot about it on the show. So anyway, the New York Attorney General won, and so basically this is just giving small businesses a little bit better peace of mind. Unfortunately for the people that lost their cases in the past, it's still kind of a bummer, I'm sure. So on that note, another thing that happened was the U.S. Court of Appeals overturns net neutrality, and this is something that people are talking a lot about on Twitter. And so the one thing I just wanted to point out quickly with this is that look it up a little bit more, because I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me personally when I see people that are in tech startups talk about it. But at the same time, there's pros and cons with the idea of the internet being something that that the government has their hands in. So basically what Verizon did was come back at them and say, no, net neutrality is not something you can do. You cannot tell a business owner how they can charge and how they can deliver a service. And so one of the companies, or one of the publications that I thought that did a really good job of pointing this out, was Popular Science, of all places. I'm going to link to that. And so they explain it a little bit further. So it's the idea that these large companies like Netflix and Google and people like that can pay a bigger fee, because basically what they're saying is that not everyone is equal in using the internet. Some people that are using internet for communications, whether it's video, for entertainment, or sending Skype over, or something like that, versus someone just looking at a website, that's two different uses and two ways of consuming and how data is being taken. And so Verizon won, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with this. And definitely check out the article. It's a good one in Popular Science, and it helps you understand it a little bit more as far as a consumer and someone that is a small business owner within this. And two big wins.
Wow, winning.
That will help you become more winning on this Winning Wednesday is the Horizon shoots all of your videos in landscape. It's an article that was out of TechCrunch, and this is, I just thought it was funny because my business partner, she does video, yet whenever she shoots a video, she always holds the camera like this, and so you see it on like Jimmy Kimmel or the Today Show when they show clips. It's the, what's that called? The vertical look of the video. Is horrible. It drives me crazy. So this app is, I think, 99 cents. It's like 50% off right now in the App Store. It's called Horizon. Check it out. It makes all of your videos go into the landscape view automatically, even if you hold it like this. So I would definitely check it out so you can become more winning in video. And then finally, the last thing that I wanted to mention that is definitely going to help us win as far as being more social on the internet is that Tumblr, you can now tag people using the @ symbol. So that's all very exciting. Hopefully you grabbed something that will help you win the rest of the week. Check out the net neutrality stuff on Popular Science. Check out the Horizon app, and make sure that you tag people on Tumblr. Get on Tumblr if you're not on it yet. It's really fun. I enjoy it. So you've been watching Winning Wednesday on the daily live webcast called Jenn Cast. Hopefully I'll see you back here tomorrow for Thematic Thursday. Friday, we're talking all about women and how to make 2014 an awesome year, what actions to take, with one of the authors of a popular Entrepreneur magazine article. So make sure that you sign up for yfb.me/mailed it to find out all the news that's happening with young female entrepreneurs. This has been Jennifer Donogh. Thank you so much for watching live. Tweet me using @JenniferDonogh and use the hashtag JennCast.